All right, so a lot of people ask me, they're just like, oh, since you like talking about crypto, what are the cryptos that are gonna be good in the future? What's gonna make me some money? What's the new latest crypto? And this is not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen. Not financial advice, ladies and gentlemen. But the next big thing in crypto, the next thing to pop off in cryptocurrency, stablecoins. Stablecoins are going to fucking boom to the moon. All in on US Tether. All in on Tether. Stablecoins, next big thing. This is not financial advice. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The World According to Kyle and...
You can call me Daniel.
and Daniel podcast. Yes, I have a guest today. This is an interview slash my friend coming to enjoy the world according to Kyle and have a good time. Two bros shooting the shit about things. How are you doing today, Daniel?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm a subscriber, just like all the other two. And I'm just here to hang out with him, and we're gonna talk about some stuff.
We're in our infancy. We're in our you are a pioneer of the TWA2K the TWA2K ship. You are very early. You're a very early adapter.
I'm kind of late joining this conversation with you because we're on episode 9, so this is my first intro.
Well, this is my first interview, so happy to have you here, Daniel. And so let's talk about, we just got back from the Tim Hortons. I had some thoughts about the Tim Biebs, and I didn't like them very much. Like, to me, like they look like they're doused in like crack. Like when I looked at the chocolate one, I wanted to scrape it off and sniff it. I didn't want I didn't want to eat it or put it in my mouth. You were mentioning it looked like something.
The bacteria ball from the coronavirus.
The bacteria.
What a great time for that to happen.
From the coronavirus, Daniel had mentioned that it looked like all.
It does, though. If you look at it, it's got those like particle edges on the ball, like it normally would.
It totally looks like the Rona, yeah. And he's saying all of this in front of the Tim Hortons. I bet you.
I don't know. I speak my mind. I'm pretty truthful.
I bet you they didn't have that one before. I bet you they had a lot of.
Oh yeah.
Can I get some Bieber bits today?
Some Bieber bits. I've thought of different names for it too. Like let's go with Timber and that. I don't know.
So but realistically, I probably make fun of it because I aspire to that level of selloutness of being able to
it's selling it,
to gang up with like corporate fast food franchises in Canada.
Absolutely.
I'm just waiting for the overpriced TWA2K Tim Hortons partnership in the future. I think I'm not PC enough for that to be able to happen.
I think that the more you do this, the better you get. You're on episode 9 already.
For sure. Maybe I can pay Justin Bieber to come on my podcast, and that would be a podcast. Like, Justin, why does your music suck so much and I don't like it? Like,
he's like, guys, I made better Timbits.
So what's worse, your Timbits or your hit singles? So Daniel's from out west, and I was initially out west. I think that's kind of like how we kind of like got to know each other a little bit. Daniel just moved down to Toronto from out west, and there's a lot of differences between the two places.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
the weather,
the weather mainly. I like my main driving factor in where I live in Canada is trying to be as south as fucking humanly possible with living the best possible life also, because I was in Windsor before, so the the southernmost place in Canada, the place where you get the best possible weather, is Windsor. Like, compared to Toronto, it's always like a couple degrees warmer. But that being said, I enjoy living in Toronto. How are you feeling living in Toronto?
I love living in Toronto.
You do?
I do miss Alberta though.
Yeah.
Edmonton is where I'm from. I've been here for 5 years, but I'm used to the weather now. It took a while, but it's the humid that gets to me.
Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people bullshit about this one fact, and now I'm glad that I have an Alberta person on so that I can verify if it's true or not. Okay. So
Okay.
I think it's bullshit. I just want to say so. So a lot of how do I want to phrase this? So, is it warmer in the winter in Alberta because of the Chinook winds?
Absolutely not.
Man. See, thanks for keeping it real, because, man, you get 9 months of winter, but it's not that big of a fucking difference. Like, I mean, like, okay, you get a little more wind, but, like...
with the wind chill, it's minus 40.
But the Chinook is overrated. A lot of, like, people from Alberta, like, they hang their hat on, like, the fact that, okay, yeah, but we got a Chinook. Because, like, okay, but, yeah, what are you going to do? You want to go into the mountains, at the top of the mountain anyways.
It's beautiful on the mountains.
That's where you want to be if you're out west. You want to be...
And it's a lot colder on the mountains. So.
Yeah, and the main thing is that there's only two seasons in Alberta. There's summer, and there's 9 months of winter, and those are the only two seasons.
Yeah, we forgot about spring and fall.
You get like a week of spring and like a day of autumn.
Yeah,
it's like
sure. Well, I was born in Ontario, so I don't really know what it's like because I moved out there when I was 4.
Ontario's nice. I think like you get like. You get all it encompasses all like 4 seasons really nicely, like, well, until global warming starts to kick in and we're all fucking frying. We get some semblance of a winter.
Well, it's already happening right now.
Some semblance of a spring, some summer, semblance of a fall and winter, etc., etc.
Yes.
So I had a couple topics to discuss. Now, I think let's talk about this one restaurant owner. And so like when I'm working, I go to a coffee shop, and I'm not going to name the coffee shop exactly. I don't like to. It's not a good thing for me to point something out, which it doesn't matter. It's not the franchise's fault. This one person owns a franchise.
Coffee time, isn't it?
It is. It might be. So, the owner of this franchise, this coffee shop franchise, so when I go in there like a few months ago, like, he wasn't wearing a mask, and like sometimes when somebody's not wearing a mask or they're not wearing a mask inside, whatever. I mean, you take off a mask while you're eating and shit, etc., etc. One time I went into this one bar, this one place, and they're just like, they looked at me and they're like, you better take that mask off. I took my mask off. It's like, it's not, I mean, it's kind of silly when like you're in a restaurant, you have to wear a mask when you get there, and then they're just like, have a seat, and then everyone takes their masks off and start fucking eating anyway. Like, what is the difference?
Well, she came up to you and told you to take your mask off. That's something new I've heard.
Yeah,
because
right?
I've been told to keep my mask on.
Right? No, like they're totally anti-mask, and they're just like, you had to have your mask, but they took something. It was like, you're gonna take that mask off, aren't you, being here? I'm like, yes, sir.
Okay, I haven't been to one of those anti-mask restaurants.
It was weird, but like, I honestly didn't know it was one of those spots. I just like kind of wanted to get something to eat, and like, I mean, I'm 35. I don't want to contract the coronavirus, but I also don't want to live like a fucking lab rat. So I'm every now and then. You're gonna go out. But so going back to the coffee time, or the we will not disclose the name of the restaurant. And I'm too lazy to go back and edit this. So, yeah. So going back to that, so this guy, he wasn't wearing one. Whatever. I don't care that much. But then he's just like, he's starting to like push my beliefs push his set of beliefs on me. So he's just, I asked him, like, can I sit down? And he was like, of course you can like, that was his assumption. Then he's just like, let me see your hand. And then I'm just like, So
he asked for your hand.
Yeah, so I showed him my hand. He's like, "Oh, pretty soon they're gonna ask you, do you have a black person as your friend on your phone? Do you have a gay person as your friend on your phone?"
I do.
Like,
I
do too, but he's trying to like. He obviously doesn't, which is why he's worried. but he's so that's what he said. He's trying to like make a like he is the owner of this restaurant too, and like bro, like 75% of people at least believe fucking coronavirus is like a serious thing and like is actually existing.
It still is, and we're getting booster shots for it.
So like, how are you taking this lightly? Like you're even so there's a firefighter in there the next day. My coworker who works near me was telling me there's a firefighter in there next day, like chewing him out basically, and he's just like not giving a fuck, wearing a mask. I'm just like, I don't care if you are if you're like that, but just don't try and force your beliefs on me, because your beliefs are not in favor with what the science is saying. It's just you're trying to tell me something. I shouldn't take something seriously when it's clearly serious to be taken. Like, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Am I wrong here? Like, I mean, like, I don't want to go back to the fucking plague.
You know what? It's your life. You can do what you want. That's how everybody lives, right?
I don't want to go to the plague
if you don't want to wear
cafe.
a mask. If you want to wear a mask, you don't. If they're telling you to take your mask off because it's an anti-mask restaurant, then that's just their own problem. There's something wrong. Separate.
But I mean, it's not. I mean, that's not the spot for like a political discussion or like a discussion on what's right and wrong. I mean, if you have an issue with how things are brought up, they're like, what are you trying to do? Change the belief system of every person who comes in and orders a coffee? See, work is the only thing. I've like, as a team lead at my place, I've kicked people, like I've like told people to stop talking about politics, because work is truly apolitical. It is apolitical in the sense that there's no, whether there's socialism or whether there's capitalism rampant, work still needs to get done. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. And we do work hard.
We do, and Daniel is one of the things why we get along so well is that Daniel is a very he's like me in the sense where we pointlessly bust our ass, even though we make pretty much the same amount as the other people, but we can't seem to like turn that like we can't seem to just coast. Like we have to just like go ham, or otherwise we don't feel good. Like we don't feel good.
Well, I gotta stay working. If I don't work hard, then I'm not happy.
Exactly. I mean, and you just have to find some a company or something that appreciates that. And so we're like the suckers in life, but hopefully like we get to the place where somebody appreciates what we do, because like the other people who we work around, they just fucking coast. They just coast. I don't know how it is where you're living, but where I'm from, like the level of average worker in Toronto is like you couldn't even be homeless. Like that's like you wouldn't even be homeless in Windsor. You have such a poor work ethic. Like, is it like that in Edmonton too, or you have to work hard?
It's a big city, both parties, and you gotta work hard. If you don't work hard, then you make no money. That's all it is.
That is the number one, and I love me some Toronto. I fucking love everything that Toronto is about. It is the city that has come the closest to me feeling like a sense of like home, and a sense of belonging to something. But that was like the one thing that's like a note, like the level of worker here compared to anywhere else in Canada. Like anywhere else in Canada, to be like a temp worker, you have to like
become a contributor to society. That's all it is.
It's like the thing that's good about being here is that you advance motherfucking quickly if you if you just have your wits about you and you work hard and you don't try and fuck the company around. Then that's literally all you need to make it. But did you see did you see in Michigan recently the school shooting that happened?
Yes. And I saw that video of that kid talking to them.
That's nearby where because I was born in Windsor, which is across the border of Detroit in the U.S. So this was in Oxford, which is a little bit north of Detroit. And so, like, the kid, like, there was multiple warning signs of what was going to happen. The teachers had told the parents on 2 separate occasions that this kid, like, had, like, drawings in his, like, notebook about, like,
Yes.
with machine guns or whatever,
Oh,
and
wow.
saying that, like, his thoughts in his head, like, and are compelling him
So
to
those are
want,
red flags already.
to want to kill, and his parents didn't do shit about it. Like, his parents also bought a gun, didn't lock it up, despite the fact that they had a kid
So he had full access.
who was having mental issues at the time, and they did absolutely nothing. The parents are fucking just as much in charge of that.
Yeah, they just pleaded guilty yesterday. I think.
Yeah, they were
Not guilty, sorry.
they were going to they were like, and like, she even texted him. She's just like, don't do it, because she, like, how, like, my kid, like, you say you could love your kids all you want, but I mean, there's a certain point where you have to intervene. They can't be going to school. Have you ever had kids, like, that were, like, in your grade school, that were, like, psychologically unstable?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've been around a lot.
Yeah, I grew up around kids like that. I went to all these public schools in Edmonton where they had Down syndrome peoples,
Well, did you have any, like kids that were, like, sociopaths or, like, psychopaths, or who did, like, really weird things? Like, one time we had a kid that went, like, totally nuts at our grade school and started, like he didn't have anything, but, like, he might have, like, if he had a weapon, he might have been, like, he totally flipped out on the teacher, called her a bitch, and, like
Wow.
went, like, running through, like, he, like, basically, like, flipped a switch, and it was kind of frightening at the time.
I've never seen anything like that in the schools I've been to.
I was friends with a lot of, like, kids like that. I would say, like, the one thing, like, I was, like, the ultimate, like, kids like that did, like, I always got in with the wrong crowds, because kids like that knew I would not snitch. I was, like, the least snitchy individual ever, even as so I would always be, like, around for their shenanigans, but, like, I never really was like, hey, let's do this. They would always bring up the idea, and then I'm just like, well, I'm not gonna go. They know I'm not gonna snitch on them, and they know, like, they can get away with it. But yeah, I always got involved in the wrong crowd, though I was never really, like, a mean person, or didn't mean to, like, do shit like that.
I just did shenanigans, like jumping on trains was something I thought was fun.
What else are you gonna do when you're a kid in small town Canada? It's hard to try and find ways to keep yourself entertained. But the one thing I will say about these kids is that there's, like, I think there was, like, past, like, trauma, where I know one of my friends, a lot of the reason why he, like, behaves poorly is he had, like, some bad shit happen to him. Like,
He's traumatized.
he thought he was gonna die or some shit, and, like,
Well, like me, I've had those moments too.
and just, like, and it just kind of, like, flipped a switch in him, where, like, he, like, just is evil,
He
because
just didn't care.
and his trauma turned him into, like, an apathetic person.
Psychopath. And where is he right now? Do you know?
Not that he's, like, but, like, I mean, you wouldn't trust him as far as you could throw him, really. But, like, he's, like, he's okay. But, like, you can tell, like, the stuff that he went through is, like, stuff that, like, getting, like, beaten, like, half to death. Like,
Holy shit.
Like,
He's
look
pretty
at
bothered, then.
look at what, like Elon Musk had that, where he was they in South Africa, I think, when he was in South Africa, they used to, like, throw full pop cans at his head, like, because like, he's, like, the super fucking genius,
not empty pop cans.
the super
cans,
genius,
full cans of Coke at his head.
Yes,
because he was a super genius and they're jealous.
Yes, and I
guess that's what happens in society now. They expect you to fail.
Or they want you to fail, or what? I mean, like, there's no reason. Like, Elon Musk, could you imagine, like, if America didn't have Elon Musk right now, is there any hope for the U.S.? This guy's trying to build, like, make our species interplanetary. He's trying to fucking fix the problems of the world. He's got the practical. He can apply the ideas to real life to actually do them. That's the thing. It's like
internet reception.
Either. Yeah, with Starlink, how he's creating the Starlink satellites and spreading internet to the whole world.
I'm amazed by that.
And well, if you just check his rockets, like how better are they than NASA's? Like you look at a NASA rocket land, and then you look at his, like the condensed bursts of energy. You can tell like that his rockets are like some next level shit. That they're like that he has the ability to to advance these projects. He, in my opinion, is the most important person on the planet right now. Because he has that vision, and he has the sensibility to be able to make it happen. It takes either you're one of two types of people. Either you're very physical or practical, or you're like your knowledge is in the details, and you're good at like but he kind of blends the two in a really good way, where like he can because he has a physics background, right? Yeah. So he understands how things fit together, and that's the one thing that that really turned me off from education, is not understanding how things fit together.
Like they don't tell you, they only explain you the stuff you don't need to know.
That is what's wrong, and that's what that's what Elon thinks is wrong about our education system. Also, is like, they don't teach you why you're learning something. Like you don't realize like how these things apply to how like life was created, and because a lot of teachers straight up don't know. They're just like, I think the number one thing people should know about is probability, and like that is over everything. Is if you just know that, you should know that over like these boring algebraic equations, because like probability is like in all of our lives all the time. Like you might step out and get run over by a car when you cross like there's always there, you have to take all things into consideration, and it really helps you that you just don't know. We can never really say truly that we know something. That's
it happens every day in Toronto, man.
Yeah,
fatalities on the road happens every day.
Fatalities on the road, gun violence.
2 weeks ago, we had an old lady just died from a garbage truck. Ran her over because she's on the road panhandling, and it's pretty sad that it happens in my area, but I see it all the time.
Or the kids in Brampton that died because in my opinion, Canada is too soft on crime. Like, these guys will get out of jail in like 5 or 10 years, but the lives like are taken are never gonna fucking come back. And for me, like when we're talking about the Michigan shooter, for me, the media is focusing on a boring part about whether or not these incidences are terrorism. Now, a lot of people will say, as a white person, it's not terrorism. Terrorism for me...
We're all the same people.
Exactly. Terrorism for me, all that fucking matters is the result. The result. Okay, so that guy, you see the Boston parade, how he got in an argument with his girlfriend, ran off from the cops, and his truck went through parade, killing 5 people. He wants to say that's not terrorism. That's terrorism. That's as terrorism as you need to get, because all that matters for me is the result. What is the result of what happened?
Yeah.
Not whether, okay, so you want to dig into somebody's motivations. Who cares? Everybody's motivated by something else. Like, why, all that matters for terrorism is the result. You terrorized people who thought they were going to die. You killed a bunch of old ladies, and that the result was terrorism. Whether you meant it,
it was children. It was only children he killed in the Michigan.
Children and old people.
It was an old person too.
They're old people with children who were like at that particular parade float or that particular parade walk, and he just ran through them. Yeah. So, did it cause terrorism? Yes. Were the people terrorized that were there, didn't know they were going to live or die? Yes. So who cares about what his beliefs were? Who cares about if it was a domestic dispute and he was angered? The result was terrorism. The charges are fucking terrorism. End of story. Yes. That's how it should be.
Well, that's exactly what happened. He ran them over. That's terrorism.
That's
he knew he was gonna kill them.
And he didn't give a fuck about anybody's life, yes, and he was running through them terrorism. With that. I mean,
agree with you, yes.
Who cares about what your his motivations were political or not? Like this is it's not like it's the same thing with mental health. We know so little about mental health that to factor it into the equation and try and get people the problem with us is that we're too soft on crime, especially in Canada. People, the reason why we're seeing an uptick in violence in society is that you don't disincentivize it. Like the only ones who are going to get killed are pedophiles, because in jail they fucking do not like they do not like pedophiles. Like they will.
Yeah, because those cops they will tell inmates.
You'll get
Yes, for sure.
So, absolutely. But I mean, even still, he can affiliate himself with a gang in prison, and maybe so you ever watch that chapter on YouTube?
No.
So they go over. It's like this Scottish guy. He does like a really good job going over all these murders. A lot of shit happens in Canada, man. Like,
yeah.
And so this fucking girl, she another they were just young, they were kids, teenagers, and there's one girl that liked the other girl's boyfriend or whatever, and she literally beat the shit, slashed her knife with a box cutter, crushed her skull, crushed her. She took a piece of this bitch's skull as a souvenir. And
it's like, I need to keep that. That's mine now. Going to my little pocket.
And she's gonna fucking get fed for the rest of her life. She's gonna
it's that's $100 a day to keep in prison.
That's not enough disincentivizers to not I mean, if you're gonna push that chasm, I mean, it's sick to say that we need this almost, but we do. We need to treat violent crime more harshly, because there's nothing to disincentivize it right now, and that's why people take things over the edge. That's how a domestic dispute can. And that guy had 10 warrants for him. The guy that went through the parade, he had fucking a shit ton of warrants out for his arrest. So he knew it was over with, right? Yes. So he knew the difference. If he got caught, it was the same thing as that if he fucking did what he did.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're trying to say. It doesn't matter what he would have done. He would have been already screwed.
Right?
Jail. Yeah.
So there's no disincentivizers, and that's, man, not to go out on a super tangent right here, but I've watch Hardcore History with Dan Carlin, and where he goes over details about medieval times and how they used to medieval torture devices in the fucking the Catholic and Roman Empire, how they used to deal with Vlad the Impaler, the shit they used to do. Now that'll really disincentivize some fucking some shitty behavior.
For sure.
And did you see? You're a fan of Travis Scott, right?
Yep.
What did you think about what happened at
Astroworld?
At Astroworld?
I think that it was not in his control. I believe that if he knew that it was gonna kill people, he would have stopped it prior to it getting out of hand. But I don't believe that it should be pinned on him and Drake. I know Drake and him have a lot of money, but he's been sued for billions. And I just don't think it's fair for Travis Scott to have to go through that. And I'm sure Kylie Jenner is looking at him and just laughing, ha. But
why, she broke up with him recently?
Well,
or?
I think they're...
Didn't she have his kid or something?
Yeah, they had a kid, but I just don't think that she's gonna what's the word I'm looking for? She's not gonna help him out on this one.
Okay, so here's my my stance on the issue is that I'm gonna go to a Tame Impala concert in 2022. Hopefully, if fucking we're not locked in a cages by then. I also plan on going to Portugal the Man concert. Now, I know nobody's gonna get stomped out at that over there. So like, I mean, here's
Astro World is much bigger than Tame Impala. It's a bigger concert
for sure. Like I went to big concerts also where they've been headlining, but
there were children at this one.
Yes.
Why was there children there, and why isn't it 10 years old? It was the youngest, and he died too. And
for sure, there should have been an age limit for sure, because
for one, it's Travis Scott. He has music,
and there's millions of people that are gonna want to go there. But I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that like we always have these like violent and fucking egotistical and like and like, you know, I know whether no matter how big fucking, like, I know nobody's getting stomped out at an Elton John concert unless it's some mega chud fucking like.
I don't know why it would even get out of hand like that. Anyways, it just doesn't make sense to me that people were jumping on top of people to get wherever they were
8
going.
fucking people died and fucking how I could not imagine being at like the types of concerts I'm at and some people's getting fucking like literally stomped on, like fucking their like some elephants are around them and nobody helping them up or trying to get them. And
that's what I think. Drake didn't. I mean, Travis Scott didn't know that people were getting hurt, and he just seen a pile of people coming towards him, and that's all.
We seen Drake concerts. I knew a girl who like her friends died at a like they got shot like at a fucking like Drake concert. Like I mean, it's just you like a lot of. Okay, before the debate used to be back in the day when Eminem was like was popular, everyone just wanted to blame for all these mass shootings. They just wanted to blame the artists. They just wanted to blame the artists for why people are behaving like shit. Now, I think we've gone away from that and we realize that's bullshit. It's about like your parents, like this situation with the shooter. It's about your parents. It's about how you were raised. A lot of it is on that. But we've gone too far away where like kids don't care about fucking what their parents say. They care about what's cool. Like, I mean, I don't think like Marilyn Manson is completely absent of like creating like a shittier, like, you know, contributing to creating shitty thoughts and ideas in our atmosphere. But like, if you're
a fan of Marilyn Manson,
I like because I can put it in context. Like I can put I can understand what he's doing. Okay. But but like I think.
Did you go to his concerts back in the 90s?
I did go to one of his concerts. He actually canceled it.
Oh,
but recent when you put bad ideas out, it creates bad results, and and it's like I think that too much of the blame has been shifted away from the artist instead of like.
Well, he's not being blamed, right?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I think
he's a good artist.
No, that's why I said the blame is shifting. The blame is shifted away too far from the artist, where people are putting shitty ideas out into the ether, and then they're wondering why. Like, turn on Netflix or something and see like how much like murder porn and fucking like serial killer this and like all these like these they promote like very extreme things and like it almost desensitizes us to violence and shit like that. I think we shouldn't ignore what is that the effect that, because people don't think politicians are cool. People don't think that their parents are cool. They think the singers are cool. They think that, you know, they're more likely to follow in the footsteps of
their children if they want to look cool and be cool and go to those cool concerts. I'm sure they just get that support from their parents. It
has a higher influence on a person's being than their parents almost. I just like parents got the blame, are getting the blame now. I just don't think like, you know, if you just, you know, having like a society that just doesn't give a shit about like, you know, death and murder and showing and desensitizing people to this and not giving a fuck about censorship and not giving a fuck about, you know, what the influences of what you're doing. And this is coming from someone like, you know, I really like Tupac. Like, I still listen to him today. Like,
me too.
a lot of people like might find his music too aggressive. But in all fairness, he was a backup dancer for Digital Underground, and if you didn't want to murder everything moving after doing that, I would probably question your sanity.
Well, normally I don't listen to the lyrics. I like the music.
Yeah, well, and also for sure that has a impact on it, is like how you're listening. Some people are more beats than
I'd have to listen to it a few times maybe to understand what he was talking about, because he raps so fast. All these rappers, they rap fast. You know how it is. You gotta listen to it over.
I'm a lyrics guy. Lyrics guy. I need lyrics, but I appreciate good sounds and a good beat and stuff. So it's not like completely absent from me, but I'm definitely more on the beats side of things. So, well, we're gonna take a quick break. We'll be back in a second. Just taking a quick breather. We'll be back to finish the rest of the podcast in a moment. All right, we're back. So I wanted to. There's this like little quick thing I wanted to brush up on. So I don't know if anybody knows this, but like a fucking like a secret, like, you know, sometimes you fucking like you get the slips and you drop something and you don't know, and you're just like, so you know those moments where you're holding on to your phone and like it slips and like you're just like, oh god, is it gonna crack?
Normally it does crack.
Okay, so here is one tip you can use as a last second. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work, but I think that it has saved a lot of things from me. Is that you stick your foot out and try to break the fall a little bit earlier.
That's your first instinct.
That's it. That is.
Try and catch it with something that's close to
my
the
foot
ground.
like, so if I drop something, like my foot always like pops out like that, because I swear, and maybe it's just in my head, but and maybe it wouldn't have broken anyways. But I swear I saved like some things by just sticking my foot up, breaking the fall, and then it falls onto the ground, but doesn't break. And I was like, whoa, phew! I saved that bottle of Grey Goose totally.
I've caught things from falling with my foot.
Yeah, same.
Like you're doing with a soccer ball, how you would catch it, but I did that with like
you stop it.
Key, like a remote for a TV or my Xbox controller.
Bro, I swear that has saved expense for
cell phones
for me.
For sure.
And it's an underrated thing that nobody tries, because you want to try and like break. It's like, oh, maybe if it falls from 1 foot higher, that it doesn't break.
It probably won't break. You probably would.
And then you got like a softer like landing than like a Euclidean surface, like the fucking hardwood floor or something, right? Yeah. So that's interesting, and it's something that nobody thinks about. So if you're gonna drop something that isn't,
make sure you're over carpet.
Make sure
and make sure you're not close to any concrete. Or
make sure that it's not like a knife.
You only put your phone out when if you drop a knife. Don't catch that with your foot, guys.
Did you hear about how Machine Gun Kelly like got with Megan Fox
and how he had to impress her by stabbing himself?
He threw like a sword. Was it a sword or a knife? Or
I
like
didn't go into detail.
I think it was like a machete. So he threw it up in the air and tried to catch it, and it went through his fucking like.
Wow, the things we do nowadays to impress women.
He probably just like was like, no big deal, no big deal.
I've never been that desperate to get a girl so bad. I think that was a desperate move. He's like, love me, Megan. I like Megan Fox. I do.
So do you use I'm curious, do you use every single excuse me while I open this beer. This section is not brought to you by Guinness Stout. This is not brought to you by Guinness, even though that's what I'm drinking. But, okay, so do you use all the major social media?
No, I do not. I just deleted Instagram because I stopped using it a long time ago. I just use Facebook to talk to family. Okay,
so I have, went through, and I think I have, it's interesting to compare all the social media. Since I do a podcast, I want to try and get the most possible audience that I can get, right? And so giving grades, I would like, so I have given grades on the three major platforms and which had the least misinformation during the pandemic. And so of the major social media networks, which would you think would have the least misinformation? So they have the lowest amount of bullshit is basically what I'm saying.
I wouldn't know what to say about Facebook or Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account. I have Facebook. I don't follow much.
I'm also adding to this Reddit. So there's Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know like Reddit or Pinterest, any of those other.
Just those three. Just those three. So
Okay.
which would Reddit, Facebook, and Twitter? Which would you think has the least misinformation?
Probably Reddit.
It does. Okay. So which would you think is second? So which would you say is better?
Twitter.
No. It's
What?
not. It's not.
It's not? Wow. That's
Man,
strange.
I
think Facebook was the
some of the like most COVID information, the most like, and they've like, you know how Facebook has that thing that comes up at the bottom where it's like COVID information where you can actually get it. At Twitter, see, the thing that happened with Twitter is that it's elitist. So if you have a blue check mark or whatever, you're verified on Twitter. So all these people are the ones who are the quacks. They believe in the fucking like they believe in everything happens for a reason, which it doesn't. They believe that fucking like that, you know, they believe in all this kooky shit like homeopathy and fucking all this like this stuff that was like 18th century bullshit that modern science has disproven, but they have a blue check mark. So Twitter doesn't want to offend those people. So they're allowed to say whatever. They don't have any like, people can say whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
I got banned from fucking Twitter for 7 days for the last 7 days.
I got banned from Xbox Live
For
a week because of the children on there started to act up on there towards me, and I had to tell them off, and I got banned.
Yeah, it's like, so this guy was like gaslighting me basically on Twitter, where he's just like, I'm telling him, I'm just like, okay, so all these people are dying in the hospital, they're dying in excruciating ways, and you're saying that it's a hoax. I'm just like, and I'm the one that has the problem because I don't see your bullshit version of reality. And I told him to kill himself, and Twitter fucking bans, like, that's almost an underreaction. Like, if you're sitting there telling me that, okay, this is gaslighting, Daniel. This is gaslighting. So for the audience, there's a TV in front of us. I say, Daniel, there's no TV in front of us.
Yeah.
And you're just like, yes, there is, Kyle. I see one. And I'm just like, no, you're crazy for thinking that there's a TV in front of us. That is what gaslighting
people
is.
Take things so seriously sometimes.
That is what gaslighting is. That's attempting to convince, or that's telling someone that they're like mentally wrong for seeing reality. Now, in some situations, like say if somebody's colorblind or something, then that's different because they're literally seeing a different set of reality than you. But that's what. So I mean, you know, if I'm trying to tell you like, hey, there's no TV in front of us, and you're playing the TV, and the TV's playing, and it's showing, and you're feeling it, and you're saying, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. It's clearly here.
You're high on something, man.
It's clear, but these people are actually serious. So I get banned from so Twitter doesn't give a fuck. It's all about
stones and break your bones, but you get banned from Twitter for saying words.
Yes, exactly. Twitter's became soft, and my theory, and like, and that is why, because like all they care about is like who you're, if you have like a lot of followers, or if you're like, so Facebook is just like, as much as you want to hate on Facebook and think they have a lot of misinformation, they don't try to like, you know, set arbitrary goalposts where they're just like, oh yeah, if you say this, then automatically you're getting banned. You can't you have to look at the context of the situation. Like, I mean, that's like almost like verbal harassment if I'm like just like like I mean like at what point like do you say fuck off, go die, or
that's
something?
That's just another form of instigation, and I can understand where people come from when you're just making fun of that, and
Not, well, I didn't like. I wasn't making fun of them. They were the ones who presented. And I'm just like, okay.
Oh yeah, you were just being sarcastic.
No, I wasn't even being sarcastic. I was honestly trying to tell. It's like, no, this is wrong to believe. Like all these people in the hospital are actually dying, and he's just like, no, it's a hoax. So the media, the media is brainwashing you. And I'm just like, so all these people I'm seeing in the hospital are dying. They're crisis actors. That's why Alex Jones got banned from YouTube. Is because he said
Alex Jones and.
The Sandy Hook, like he used to run InfoWars, and he's like everything's a conspiracy type of guy, where global elitists are controlling the fucking world type of guy, and so he got banned and deplatformed from all these things because he said the people in Sandy Hook, Sandy Hook, the school shooting. Yeah. He said they were crisis actors, that they were acting. The parents in Sandy Hook were acting sad.
He's got issues,
right? So I mean, there's a fine line between everything is contextual. If you don't have, you can't just set robots and say, oh, this person said to go kill yourself. Yeah. Then that's what I love about YouTube also, is that they have algorithms which can detect things that might be problematic, but they go through them specifically, and it's just this guy I follow, Cult of Dusty. He does COVID porn is what he calls it. It's not the COVID porn you're thinking about. Not the COVID porn you're thinking about. But no, he does where people post anti-vax memes and then they end up dying from COVID, and so he goes through all their
goes around comes around.
He goes through all their memes that they post, exactly, and basically does the come around.
If you believe the negative will happen.
So yeah, he does that, and YouTube initially they flag it, but then they go through it, and then it's just and Twitter doesn't do that. So Twitter has by far the most misinformation, because as long as you have a blue check mark, then you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. I mean, Jeff Bezos made veiled threats at Leonardo DiCaprio because what did you see that interaction?
Is that how you pronounce his last name? Bezos?
Bezos.
Oh, okay.
Bezos, like Tezos, but Bezos.
But what was he had to do with Leonardo DiCaprio?
So, they were at a gala or some fucking bougie fucking,
That's the first time I've ever heard of any gala.
Bougie fucking event. Bougie. I don't know if it's a gala or not. I don't know what the fuck these things are, but so, his, his piece that he was seeing at the time, since he's divorced, Bezos's piece, was Leo was Leo came in front of them, and then she was it showed her looking at Leo just just he's a nice guy. And so Bezos posted on Twitter that he was going on a hike or whatever, and there's this danger warning, steep fall, and he posted he's oh, come over here, Leo, I have to talk to you. So it's he took a picture of himself saying danger or whatever, steep cliff, and he's come over here, Leo, I want to talk. So so Twitter is just completely about if you have the blue check mark, and I mean I think it's set up structurally also that you have to only post within a certain amount of characters, right? So they limit your characters, in my opinion. There's no reason why you would limit the characters on anything other than to protect people who are sensitive or people who are more sensitive than others to their ideas getting exposed. So that's my theory. That's why they haven't changed the character, because you can have an infinite amount of characters. Facebook does it, Reddit does it. Yeah, they just restrict it for the people with the blue check marks, because Twitter is kind of an elitist thing.
I've never had a Twitter. Do you have a Twitter, Carl? I think you do.
Yes, you can find me. It's a nice transition for the plug. You can find me at Kyleverse. At Kyleverse. That's pending. My Twitter I still haven't got banned permanently. It's coming though. So,
What about Facebook? Are you a Facebook guy?
well, I want to, like, some things I have to post on Facebook and I can't post on Twitter because, like, I cannot just have, like, it's more ideas than 200 characters allows me. And threading is like
you can say more words than you can type.
Threading is the most stupid thing on Twitter. So if I had like a whole page of like things that I wanted to say, I would have to do 20 separate tweets, but it would be like 1 of 20, 2 of 20, 3 of 20. It's stupid. Like, it's like really like it's like we're still like in the caveman era of like of social media with Twitter. Stones. I do not like what you say.
Because no beer back then.
Because you cannot, like, but that's the thing. That's what they want. They want you to not be able to dispute bad ideas, and that is why Twitter has the most information. Because a smart person with enough fucking time on their hands can debunk any bullshit that somebody says. But if on Twitter you can't just, like, I have to tell people like fuck off because like you can't. What am I supposed to do? Tweet them fucking 50 different times because I'm trying to explain in fucking precise detail like all the fucking web of lies they fucking created, which they're not even doing like surface level research on. Like, it's just not feasible, and that's like kind of what
they're just talking out their ass. They believe
exactly
their own things. So
exactly, but like if you have enough like wherewithal, or if you like, you can just fucking like, okay, this is wrong. Like that's what I do on like on Reddit. Like people will just say some bullshit on Reddit, and then I'll just be like, okay, this is where you're wrong, and this is why, and like I mean,
you got Reddit too? Oh my gosh, Kyle!
I'm all up in the interwebs. Like when you do a podcast, you want to be on as much forums as possible. Yeah. But I found that like the least misinformation is on Reddit, where like but sometimes you still get like the not to be like autistic shrieking on like when on Reddit, you still get that,
and Xbox Live.
Especially Xbox Live, and a lot of racism with that as well. Like, I've never seen, all they do, like, so there's fucking like
squeakers, that's what they call
it. So that when I play like fucking like Fortnite or fucking PUBG, and then when you're all on the airplane and you're about to get dropped, then it's just like one person will say fucking like the N bomb, and it'll be like all the way through. It's just like, but these people, okay, these are all kids. Like, I mean, you cannot like try and like assume that that's how most, like, I guarantee you all of these are not fully grown like humans. These are like fucking,
no, they're children. Their parents let them play rated M games,
right? They're just those poor kids that their children let them play Duke Nukem like back in the day. But no, I mean, like, it's not okay, for instance, like me and like I was telling you about my bad friends that I had when I was in grade school. So when like they're you probably, I don't know if you're a little bit younger than I am. I don't know if you remember chat rooms quite as much as I do.
MSN? I was
Yahoo.
around those times. Yahoo.
Yahoo
I didn't have
chats.
Yahoo.
So,
I had MSN though.
Me and my fucking friend, like when like we used to like go on cancer chat rooms and make fun of like the patients. Like that, I mean, like,
I go on chat roulette and make fun of those guys, but they all have their dick in their hands. Most of them, so
right?
Why are they walking?
It's bad, but I mean, like, it's just what you do when you're a kid. When you're a kid, like, I mean, you just you don't get your kicks like from drugs because you can't do them. So you like have to like, you know, be an idiot somehow, and that's kind of. But I would never like I said, I was never the one to instigate it, but I was always kind of the passenger on the
I was like that too.
On the bandwagon of like the bullshit that was kind of happening.
To a certain point, like once it got to a certain point, I stopped. I didn't want to escalate that situation.
So here, I got a story. We'll finish off with...
I couldn't help notice that you have a ring on the back of your phone case. Are you those one of those people that put that through your fingers so you don't lose your phone from dropping?
No, it's just to prop it up. It's just to prop it up.
Okay.
So I can just prop it up if I'm watching like a movie or something. It's not like any hook or anything. So we're almost at an hour. I'm gonna finish off with a story. I don't know if I told you the story or not, but so so I'm like I'm reading about like recently. This is like within like the last couple years or something. So I'm reading about like the effects of PCP and angel dust. I don't know, like
Never heard of it.
So I was reading up about the effects, and I'm just like, man, this fucking this time I was definitely given it, and without without knowing. And I smoked angel dust, and I had one of the most fucked up, like,
trips of your life.
No, like I like almost died that night.
Oh yeah. I remember you telling me about this story.
Here, I wanted to tell the audience.
Okay.
So we're at the bar. We're at this bar, right? And all of a sudden, like, this is my hometown, right? This is a large reason why I'm in the fucking city. This is one of the many fucking case in points why I live in the city as opposed to the small town. But this is one of them. So I'm at a bar and I'm chilling. These guys from high school come up and let's just keep it fucking nameless. Well, they end up... it's like, hey, you want to come outside, smoke a joint? So I go, we'll go outside, smoke a joint. All of a sudden, fucking, all my friends know is that fucking I disappeared. I fucking disappeared and I'm gone. We were supposed to go back to my house and play poker. Or, no, go back to, I was staying at my friend's house.
Okay.
I was staying at my friend's house and we're going to go back to his house and play poker after. And so I just I'm going outside and boom, gone. So,
where'd you go?
Let's tell the story. So what happened was that I was given PCP at that point. And so what I was reading about the effects of like PCP is like you're just kind of like, it's like a rolling blackout. And like you're in and out of consciousness. So it's like conscious blackout. Conscious blackout, where it's like rolling fucking blackouts. So it's like every time that night, another effect with it is that you cannot feel your extremities. So like your hands and your fucking, so what?
It's like triple hallucination.
It's fucked. It's just like so I was supposed to go back to my friend's house. I had my dad's van there. And I went hit my dad's house was like 20 minutes, 15 minutes.
What kind of van was it?
Like a Dodge Caravan, silver fucking dustbuster. So we fucking so I took his van there. I was gonna sleep at my friend's house for the night, right? So I fucking all of a sudden I disappear through the night.
Okay.
So what happened?
High on PCP. Right.
High on PCP, unknowing. Okay. I thought I was just like blackout drunk.
Yeah.
So I keep rolling in and out of like fucking blackouts. So I'm just like, man, and I just felt fucking weird, and I'm just like, man, I need to go home. And so I got in, and I like, at times before I was able to like save the night by getting home too quickly, or by getting home before I fucking blacked out, right? Because you don't want to fucking be blacked out in a bad spot,
for
right?
Sure. No, you want to get home. Call a cab.
So I didn't. I'm just like, I can make it home. It's only 15 minutes away. It's very it's like two roads down. So I'm rolling in and out of fucking blackouts while I'm driving. And I cannot feel my fucking legs.
Oh no!
So every time, so it's like I black out, and then I'm in a worse situation, and I black out, and I'm just like, oh, it can't possibly get any worse. I'm in a worse situation, and so it was kind of like April, March at that point, and then and so the like there's farm fields all throughout these concessions, and the farm fields, and they have like these giant wind turbines for like the wind. They capture like the wind energy, right?
For electricity,
for electricity, exactly. So they have those all planted throughout the farm fields down there.
They're loud if you stand under one. They're fucking loud.
Come and listen to this. So fucking so I'm like and I'm down one of those roads where they have the farm fields, and this is like April, like where and it was like a wet night. There was like light rains. So, all of a sudden, one of the blackouts I did. So I went and I blacked out. I came into a consciousness and the van was in a ditch.
But you woke up. That's the main point.
So then I'm just like, oh shit, what do I do? And so I fucking, like, I start running, and then, like, I hear cops, sirens. No. So I run into the field. I run into the farmer's field, and I go, like, about half a kilometer in, and then I start sinking. I start sinking into the soil because fucking like, and like and I'm right in front of this giant fucking wind turbine that's just going to, and at that moment I thought, this is it. I was like, and so the cops were like too far back where they weren't going to come in here because like they didn't want to ruin their uniforms or whatever. And so I was
God
like,
forbid
it was like quicksand, bro. It was like quicksand. I was sinking, and I was down to my fucking waist.
But you were hallucinating, right?
No,
you were actually sinking.
This happened. Wow. This happened.
Oh wow.
So that's I'm like crazy. Literally. I'm like at my dick in fucking like, and I'm just like this because I can't feel my extremities. I can't even move my arms. So I'm just like, okay, I'm dead. I'm gonna die. Wow. I'm gonna die. So fucking, I wake up, and like, thank God it was at the time it was at because I didn't sink too much. Yeah. I fucking wake up like frozen. I'm like, wow. and so I'm just like, I need to. And so there was like, you know, those like portables you have in fucking grade school and shit, like where you go inside of the portables that are like the outdoor, like they're outdoor homes kind of like it's almost like a trailer park home, but it's like, you know, it's like for construction people to go over blueprints.
Oh yeah, okay. I know
so I broke into one of those and I fucking like lit a fire because thankfully I had one? Yes, and I smoked myself out. But but like starting that fire, I needed to start that fire because my body temperature was just like too low. Like I felt myself like about to
hyperthermia.
So yeah, so that was a night so I went into somebody's house. There was a farm nearby, and I'm just like, I don't know how I got here, and like I called they knew my uncle, and they called my uncle.
You got really lucky.
I got picked up, and fucking like I literally almost died that night.
What
because
year was this?
This was like 2013, 2012.
Wow, man.
So
where was this, in Windsor?
No, my small town nearby Windsor, where I grew up and went to high school. Amherstburg. Yes. So
I'm not from Ontario, so these small towns around me is hard.
You're from You know Belleville.
I do know Belleville. I was born there.
It's nearby. Nearby. But so that, you know, that is like one of the many stories, and we'll definitely go on more in the TWA2K in the future about
the world according to
about stories. Yeah, so
main man.
The world according to Kyle. That the case that emphasize like, oh, this is why I am the way I am. Anyways, Daniel, you're welcome on at any time.
That's awesome.
This was a blast.
Here, man. Thanks
it was nice to have you here. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was the World According to Kyle podcast. I hope you had a good one. Take care, everybody. World According to Kyle and
Daniel.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one.